Hello, welcome to Canada. It's round 3 for the Division 3, well, for the whole of ISRL, but Division 3 is on track right now. I'm ISRL Knight, happy to be with you in the commentary booth with Carter. And Carter, you can hear me all right?
Can you hear me?
Yes, so listen, it's round 3, the kind of favorites are starting to develop in the standings. The constructors and the drivers, of course, have seen some front runners already. Are we going to be looking at anybody to extend their lead? What can we expect there from a standings point of view there after this race?
I think all eyes are going to be on Welsh Maldonado, previously known, of course, as Renbo, taken Division 3 by absolute surprise. It's just, the question is can she keep it up? Can she become the de facto sweet crown of Division 3, if you like? It's all going to be, we're all going to find out after this race is over. This track's much different from the other two that we've raced at so far.
Yeah, of course, with Austria being short, it's a high-speed track, but it is quite short. And China being a bit more of a technical slow track, apart from that rear main straight. This one, it's very quick, a couple of chicanes here and there, and a hairpin, and all in all, it's a track that you take full throttle quite a bit. So you're right, it is a different track. We're going to see some different drivers shine, more than likely, and well, I guess we'll have the next 15 minutes to find out really who can at least nail it during qualifying. We are looking at Joseph Cozy here, who is trying to bring some good points home, maybe a podium for AlphaTauri here in Canada. Of course, Stunek, his teammate, both of them still searching for that first time basically in Parc Fermé on the podium. They haven't been able to find success this year, but hoping to change that here into the break, and they have had some good luck in Canada before. We're going to see if they can replicate that success today. Bumblebee is the first one to set a lap, but Cozy promptly beats it 1:10.1. So going to be looking at seeing those times drop into the 109s pretty rapidly. Actually, as I say that, CJ Bush there and F1 Richie both going in the 109s. And so I thought it was going to be at least another couple of guys in the 110s first. Not going to be the case, as they're putting those times down right away. 109.4 by F1 Richie is the current time to beat. But there's still a lot of time left in the session.
It's probably what his lap time is probably going to be. I think maybe the benchmark you want to get in and or around that time, maybe 2/10, 3/10 slower might be okay. But I think watch for that 109.4 to 109.7 probably be the most advantageous time for these drivers.
And going to be interesting to see what these guys choose to qualify on, and in terms of the pit strategies here. This is a track that the safety car can come out pretty often. There's walls very narrow around the circuit. It's a tight track at times. And so a spin could easily result in you clipping the wall, setting debris, maybe bringing out a VSC or a safety car. So if we're going to see drivers banking on that, we'll have to wait and see. But I expect a lot of these guys to be qualifying on the softs today. And looking at Stunek here as he's coming through the second half of this of his lap. Around this track, in terms of setup, Carter, do you think guys who go with kind of a lower downforce or higher downforce are going to prevail?
I think you have to mix and match your front and rear wing. I mean, I tend to find that maybe a tad bit higher rear wing, especially through some of the corners that, like Extreme Pascal, just went through that middle sector chicane. And here's another one where having maybe that rear wing a little bit higher might be a bit better, especially on the exit of the corners. But again, for this long straight, you want to have as much speed as possible. So maybe a little bit low front wing, a little bit higher rear wing might suit you well for this track. But then, of course, you've got all the other bits and pieces of the setup to go with that probably tends to each driver's needs. So it's all different.
And, well, I mean, yeah, I guess you can play around a little bit on this track, but the chicanes really do help if you can carry some more speed through them. But then it comes at the cost of your high speed down the straight. So yeah, you do have to find a balance, like you said. And watching Sprunky here, who's not having a great time around these chicanes, had a big moment coming out of the previous one in here around turn 9. He unfortunately just sends the rear round. And Sprunky not yet having set a lap time here. There's 11 minutes left in qualifying as he's going to slow down and I think let other cars by. And actually Chill Mo is coming around to the hairpin. It's Chill Mo on a lap. I think he is. Let's see where the Mercedes can place himself here today. And as he's coming down that long rear straight, let's take a look at the comments. There's Matt Ward in here cheering on CJ Busch, we saw with that good, well, not good, but great lap 27 pass last time around in China. And if you haven't seen that, go check out our pages. There's some replays, or just watch last week's stream and watch the whole thing as Chilma goes P6, so able to beat Cozy and Stunik, who we've seen those guys battle all season long so far, and once again it looks like they're going to be starting near each other. And do you think we're going to see some sparks fly, or are cooler heads going to prevail here?
I can tell you from just from my experience this past week that, you know, tension's not in between, not against each other, but just tensions in general have been, I'd say, a little bit higher than usual with these guys. But again, it's not about each other, just maybe not getting the results that they may have wanted. So, I mean, for right now, where they're at is a good benchmark, but as the track starts to heat up and it starts to get a groove, you'll probably start to see them hope to get a little bit higher up in the standings. But I think it all comes down to the end of the day, really. If you want to start building some momentum on the season, it might want to start right now. It certainly wouldn't hurt for it to start right now. But still a long way to go.
You do want to start on the right foot in the season, and you do want to get those points early, because if it's always easier to be playing defensive and get those points early. That way, if you have a mistake later on in the year, you have a kind of a safety net to recover. Whereas if you make your mistakes early on in the season, then you're playing catch up for a big portion of the year. Then if you make another mistake, it seems almost impossible to overcome. So I think it's normal that we're going to see some guys a little bit more on the edge here early on in the season, and really trying to kind of jump the right way into this 16 race season. And round 3, I know it seems early, but that is still a good. We're approaching the quarter mark of the season when we resume in France. So still a good chunk of the season already gone away.
And speaking of what we were talking about earlier in the season, and even into the preseason, the 2 racing points, I was just about to say that, you know, they're not too close to each other, but now that they've both completed actually a lap, I mean, look, they're 3rd and 7th already, and we still got 8 minutes left. So hoping maybe renew that rivalry we saw in the preseason and early in round 1.
Oh yeah, and I do want to highlight something. We didn't see the lap times being set, but F1 Richie was P1, and then the McLaren of Nick Potjager beat him by 10th, and then F1 Richie back on top with 109.2. We haven't seen Welsh Maldonado set a lap time yet, and she is usually pretty good at qualifying, and probably going to be able to set a time at least similar to that, but she is on track right now, and that is a fastest Sector 1, unless my mini-map's lying, and coming here through Sector 2, but going to invalidate, and with 7 minutes left, not a whole lot of time left.
Yeah, it's just that's a tricky one right there. Just a tad bit too much over the curb, and it'll get you for track limits there. So, but as you said, 7:30 remaining. Probably got time for one more solid run.
Yeah, 2 if she can get going again here. But yeah, back into the pits, and gonna have to try again. CJ Busch moving out of the way of some people. I think Bacher is on a lap, but he's invalidated. The 2 Renaults I see are out on track. So we're going to tune on board with Monkey Mafia here. And approaching the hairpin there of turn 10. And you want to take a wide line. It's a really late apex here, but turning in early, and you see he has to make kind of a V shape. It's going to cost him on the exit, and you're going to really hinder his ability to get away, 'cause he's got to get the whole car rotated a little bit more before he accelerates. And then in the end, it's going to cost him here down into the chicane. And still a good line through there, though. Hasn't lost a whole lot of time. And going to be crossing the line. Can he improve? He will improve, but not enough to improve his position. So he goes almost 1.3 seconds faster, but still 14th place for Monkey Mafia.
That's gotta be a little bit of a kick in the stomach there. You go so much better on your next lap to where maybe it can't even move you out of 14th. Unfortunate break for Monkey Mafia.
I'm going to be starting towards the rear there. I think Mo might be going for another lap here. And he will be... Oh, not getting the best line through there is going to cost him, at least in the start. Luckily, the run from the start-finish line to turn 1 here isn't the longest, so not going to cost him too much. Good line there through turn 1, and you got to hug the inside there. Turn 2, get a good acceleration. And then through here... going a little bit deep. You can cut a lot of these curves around this track, especially when you turn in, and that's where drivers tend to lose some time. They turn in a little bit too late. They don't really hug that first inside curve as well, but navigating that other one there through turns 6 and 7 quite well. I think it might have clipped the wall just a little bit through turns 8 and 9. Still looking good for Mo, so maybe just going a little bit deep there, the first of the chicanes, but recovering nicely. He's only 0.2 up on, or down on his time, and if he could recover it down the straight, maybe into the final turns 13 and 14, we'll see. No, he's already recharging his air, so I think Mo's going to abandon that lap. Is always Rick on a lap? I think he is. Carter, 4 minutes left in the session. A lot of cars in the pits. Do you think who do you think we're going to be seeing back out on track right now, or in the coming minutes?
We're going to look for sure. Well, obviously, Chill Mode is went to the pits probably to regroup and go back out one more time. So look for Chill Mode to come back out. The Stunik, I was just about to say a Stunik before I saw that he already is out. Maybe Extreme Pascal. Interesting to see him in 15th, and Sprunky in 16th. So with the time far off the pace, as always, Rick takes pole, provisional pole that is.
Good lap from Rick.
Yeah, look for Sprunky and Pascal to maybe improve their time, get out there for one more lap.
And yeah, always Rick, 109.2. So either the track is warming up well, or he's set a monster lap, or both, and gets his Alfa Romeo there on the provisional pole. And actually, Welsh Maldonado now sets a lap, and that's a 108.9, so 0.3 clear of always Rick. And at this point, I think F1 Richie, Nick Potjager, and ISRL Chris, and the likes, they're gonna want to come back out on track now and at least get a chance at reclaiming pole position. Stunik improves his lap time. He goes P7, and Cozy, I think, improves his lap time ahead of him. Because 109.5 for Stunik. And he's down in P7. He's only 0.3 off of P2.
Yeah, that was going to be my next point. Is that and Cozy as well. He's only 0.4 off. And
Cozy's coming around to the line now, and he got a good toe down the main or the back straight. But just gonna miss out on improving his lap time there. Not even a 10th behind. But still, P10, 109.6. That's a respectable time. Monkey's actually set a pretty good lap time, 109.5, right behind Stunik, only 100th behind the Alpha Tauri. Coming around to the line now, I think I see a Haas. That's not Sprunky, that would be Welsh Maldonado pitting. I think Extreme Pascal is about to start a lap, and should we expect more here than P16 from Pascal?
That's what I was a bit concerned about, and why I mentioned him a couple of minutes ago. He and Sprunky both definitely not in a place where we're accustomed, or at least where we expect. But then again, maybe just can't get a good lap in around here. That can happen where you just can't put one solid lap together.
Yeah, it's true. It does happen at times. We're starting to see some retirements from the session here. Just people who have set their lap and they know they're not going to be able to get around the track fast enough, or maybe they're out of tires. So don't worry too much about that. We're on board with, or not on board, but following CJ Butch around the circuit here as he sets his final qualifying time. And he was on, I think he's abandoned that lap, or no, he's just ducked to the inside here. For a second there, I thought I couldn't hear his engine anymore. I thought he laid off, but he's trying to reclaim it. I think he has. Yeah, look at that, the energy recharge, and he's going to have another go. Then CJ Bush trying to reclaim that provisional pole that he had earlier, very temporarily. Yeah, but after that win from last week, I think he's got a lot of expectations to live up to of challenging Welsh Maldonado, who's back in front again.
And that's what we want to see, though, right? Is that, a newcomer comes on, two newcomers actually, but they're giving us already what, can easily be projected as the championship fight already here at round 3, especially with the battle at the end of the race that we saw last week in China between.
CJ Bush now is going to start his final lap. We'll tune in with him in just a second there. Nick Potjager is about to start his final lap, and I see a Red Bull. That is Hartman, who I think is about to start his. So a couple of guys have yet to start their lap. Is that Monkey Mafia coming around the hairpin? No, it's his teammate, Pascal. Pascal is up on his time, and who's that he's basically given a tow to? Is that F1 Richie right behind him?
One of the Ferraris.
I think it's F1 Richie, and I'll tune in on board with F1 Richie. No, it's not. It's Craigo. And unfortunately for Ferrari, it's the guy on the outlap getting the tow here. F1 Richie, though, right behind them, and he's up on his time. So as qualifying ends here, F1 Richie does get provisional pole, and it beats Welsh Maldonado for sure, just barely, as Welsh Maldonado has retired from the session. And that's a great lap there from F1 Richie as he steals pole, but can Chris do anything about it? Chris goes P3. Another good lap from Chris. CJ Bush crosses the line and cannot improve his time. Monkey Mafia does improve his time, goes P14 ahead of Azen. And that's a very close grid here in short qualifying for Division 3. ISRL Richie first, starting on the front row of the grid, pole position for the Italian, racing under an Italian flag in the Ferrari, and 108.925. Welsh Maldonado P2, 108.971. That's how close it is at the front. ISRL Chris third with a 109.1. Always Rick 109.2 to round out the second row of the grid. Potjager 109.3 in P5. Craigo right behind him, 109.4. And look at how close it is here. The next two rows aren't even separated by a tenth. Stuning and Monkeys 109.54 and 109.55. Then CJ Bush with a 109.56. And then Bumblebee with a 109.57. So absolutely super close there. Cozy in P11 with a 109.64. Yeah. That's I mean, it's probably a matter of inches at the line there. Yeah.
If you were to put them all on a time all next to each other, I guarantee you couldn't fit a paperclip in between them.
Oh no, like that's
great though.
Absolutely. And yeah, Chilmo and Cozy starting close to each other on the grid. You're going to be looking at that battle in the back. See if sparks fly early, or like if we mentioned earlier, if cooler heads prevail there. And after Chilmo, it's Bacher, Monkey Mafia, Azen, Extreme Pascal, Sprunky, and then Ix and Hartman not setting any times. And yeah. And I did. We didn't even notice Nick Potjager on the mediums. So he's the only guy there on the medium tires. Indicates to me that he could have had a couple more tenths taken out of his time. But the mediums and the softs aren't crazy far apart here around Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and so yeah, that's still much better for him in terms of race strategy. So got to keep an eye out on. And Carter, as we head into the formation lap and the rest, I mean, looking at this qualifying order, looking at, I guess, the very varied pit strategy, what should we expect in the coming laps?
It's going to be all about who decides to break from the group first and take that first pit stop off the soft tires. Because then I think whoever decides to go first is going to dictate maybe, 2, 3, 4, 5 other drivers' strategies. Not only their teammate, but, other drivers might want to go off of what they do or do something similar. So watch for the first person of the leading pack. Not only who it is, but when they do it, and then I think you might start to see the strategy start to take shape.
Absolutely. It is cloudy. It's not supposed to rain, so we should be seeing a pretty consistent, pit strategy here. But in terms of laps and what kind of tires are going to be going, what can we expect in this Grand Prix?
Well, as you mentioned, the softs and the mediums are not going to be too far apart. If you wanted to try the one stop, but it all depends on the safety cars as well. But the typical strategy, you might want to do is just the one stop, at least for me. Now we got about 15, 14
And
seconds.
we have had already up there by Sprunky, so we're going to be heading on the formation lap very soon. Sorry about silence there. I was just trying to run a charging cable to my headset so that I don't lose power here halfway through the race. And we're all good. I'm just making sure it's not running there. All right, perfect. And off onto the formation lap here. And so, again, just Richie and Maldonado, that's going to be a race into turn one to look forward to. Welsh Maldonado has had good starts, so do you think she can capitalize there on another good start, maybe overtake Richie into the turn one, or is Richie fresh off of what is his best qualifying effort of the season? Can he hold her off?
Yeah, it's going to be about turn one. If she wants to get that early jump on him, it's going to have to be at turn one, because there's not really an ideal overtaking spot after, the first turn one on the first lap. Maybe other than the hairpin, but yeah, after what F1 Richie just did in qualifying, there's no reason to not expect him to just improve on what he just showed us.
Yeah, and F1 Richie, who's I even made a comment about it last week. We've gone accustomed to seeing him qualify 6th or 7th, and it seemed that that was just where he was able to put the car. And I mean, he still finished way up in the standings. Obviously, he made it work. But it seemed like he had his place where he would qualify, and all of a sudden resurgence into P1 there for F1 Richie. So it's very nice to see him back on top, at least at the starting grid in Canada. And yeah, Welsh Maldonado backing up the pack. A little bit of tactics there from the Welsh driver. And yeah, so F1 Richie with the slightly cooler tires, but they are on the softs. It's not going to matter too much. The sun is going to come out later on in this race, at least from what the race report looked like. So interesting to see maybe if these tires are going to last a little longer, because they won't heat up as much, or if they're going to last a little less because they might grain up and lose tire life sooner. But we'll figure that out in a second here, as we're getting ready for lights out in Canada, getting ready to start round 3, and it's the Canadian Grand Prix. I don't think those are the real. They are the real lights, and we are off in Canada. And it's a good start from just about everybody, but it's a better start from Richie, who's able to cover off Welsh Maldonado at the start. Chris there in the Racing Point, staying clean, but it's Richie leading Welsh Maldonado, leading Chris at the start. Positions have not changed. I saw a little bit of chaos in the back. That's Cozy out of the session already. Oh no! And what's happened to Cozy coming on the exit of turn 2? I don't think we're going to see. The whole pack is already cleared, and there's a lot of penalties already there. And what's happened at the start? I'm seeing some wing damage as well.
Hartman in the Red Bull, I quickly jumped to him, and he had literally had a wheel rolling on his front wing from another car and then fell off and rolled down the hill. I don't think I've ever seen that in this game before, but what happened at the start? I didn't see it.
Rick is down quite a bit, and I think maybe Cozy getting involved in that. The Will Hartman was pulling must have been Cozy's, as he's the only car that's DNF from this session, and that's unfortunate. We didn't catch that in the back there, and I did see some chaos, but we're gonna have to see a replay. And that's going to be some work for the stewards then. I have no idea what happened there. As we're back under green, and who's that? That's Welsh Maldonado going down the inside of F1 Richie, trying to catch him napping on the VSC restart. And F1 Richie doing a good job grabbing the ideal line through there and covering off the Haas. And not going to give up yet there. Chris is right behind them to keep them company. So if either of them make a mistake, that Racing Point could easily jump into first or second, but so far no mistakes. F1 Richie is still leading Welsh Maldonado here on lap 2 and getting about 4/10 clear of her. That's Chris in the back getting a little bit closer, and yeah, going into the hairpin there. This is the first full lap, or mostly full lap, of green flag racing, and it's F1 Richie now who's starting to build out just a tiny bit of a gap, and this top 3 here building out a little bit of a gap over the rest of the pack too. We're seeing already, and there's another VSC. What's happened here? I think something's happened at the back, because there's a couple of cars who are further back, and Ix is further back. I think these guys are the guys that pit. They must have pit after the start, which is why they're further back. And who's caused the VSC now?
Yeah, I'm not sure at all, because it didn't look like any drivers on the mini-map were slow around where the yellow came out, so...
Could it have been debris, maybe?
Maybe. I mean, there was a whole wheel flying around the track, so maybe they had to go clean it up. So, you know. But yeah, I'm not too sure why this came out.
Well, that gives us just a quick second to check at position changes, and Nick Potgieter down 11 places, always Rick down 14 places. They've had some pretty bad starts. Cozy, of course, with the DNF, which is not what he wanted as we get back under green. And Aizen lost 2 positions. I think he got involved in the early incidents as well. But everyone else looks like they've gained some. Our top 3 has stayed the same. Stunek is in P6, so he's had a good start. And Hartman up 7 places, so he must have jumped quite a few people at the start as well. Extreme Pascal up 5 places, up into P11. And as we get down the main straight for the first time, you can see Richie there trying to cover off the inside just in case. Welsh Maldonado got a run, but no luck as they get through the turn 13 and 14 chicane by the Wall of Champions. Oh, and CJ Butch is out, and he's collected the Wall of Champions, I think. And he has. Look at that. That's right where Kevin Magnussen has crashed. That has to be... That. Well, if that's not a safety car, then I don't know. But I don't think it will be as we keep racing here.
Won't even be a VSC, it looks like.
And yeah, just there you go. A third VSC here before the end of lap 4. And what is happening in Canada? It seems like everyone's getting very angsty to get going, and we're seeing quite a few incidents. That's CJ Butch there, the last week's winner, was already out of this race, and he just clobbered the Wall of Champions, I think. Yeah, you can see the debris there of where the car once was as Aizen gets through final chicane. And I mean, 3 VSCs, no safety car. This is just a big disadvantage to everybody who got caught up in the early lap 1 incidents there. But lap 4 here, we haven't had a full lap of green flag racing.
And that's true. And if I were Welsh Maldonado,
oh no,
right now, you know, all this
F1 Richie gets a drive through.
Oh my goodness!
And F1 Richie gets a drive through.
I saw him start. Yeah, he started to speed up because he was right into the chicane right as the BSC ended, and just with experience, trying to keep that delta time, you know, having to brake, you know, suddenly when you see it start to go down and into the chicane, yeah, maybe just sped just a little bit too much on under the safety car, but that is a huge turn of events now.
If it's any comfort for F1 Richie, the way this race is going, we're going to get a safety car sooner rather than later. But now he's going to have to serve a drive-through from the lead there.
Seconds.
And, yeah, it's...
Crazy.
Yeah, he must not be happy there in the cockpit of that car. Interesting to see if maybe he's going to serve it right now or wait a lap or two. But he has 3 laps to serve it. And there's another VSC. He's not going to be able to serve it now.
What did I just say?
What's happened here? Who's crashed now?
30 seconds ago there'd be another VSC. What happened? I have no clue.
I don't see any car with wing damage.
Everyone's running. Although there is a lot of debris at the end of the wall of champions though, on the track, right in the middle.
You think they'd clear that by now,
I don't know
but
if you could see it. You think? And if that's the reason for the safety car to keep coming out like this, or the
looking at me, if there's another VSC now in a couple of seconds, we're looking at probably some sort of glitch, because this is the 4th one. It hasn't even been 6 laps here, and we haven't seen an incident for 2 of them.
I'm starting to really just think that it might be that debris at the wall of champion, which is so weird because that's right where CJ Butch.
There's another drive-through
here. Penalty. That one's for Bumblebee.
What is happening here in Canada? This is
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we're back under green now. We'll see if we can actually get going and race under green here, because this is quite a weird start to the Canadian Grand Prix in Division 3. And yeah, F1 Richie now, I think he's gonna have to serve this drive-through unless he wants to risk another VSC happening. And I think he is gonna be diving. No, he's not. He's gonna keep racing.
No, he's not.
And so he's gonna wait another lap there and try to drag out these tires, I think, just to be a little bit closer to the pit window.
Which is now open if you want to pit this lap, but again, with all the VSCs and the slow running, you know, maybe you want to stretch this out just a little bit more.
And there's another VSC.
And there's something's
and
going on.
I think, yeah, something's going on here. So let me just see if maybe you might have to... So yeah, I'm gonna message these guys here.
It's one of the weirdest things I've seen in the game, though. Just if you guys aren't aware of what's going on, it's just after CJ Butch had that incident at the Wall of Champions, it obviously not only took him out of the race, but just spewed debris all over the racetrack. And for some reason, that has not been cleared by the game. And
I mean, at this, we might have, if there's just non-stop VSCs, we're gonna have to restart this race here, because this is absolutely just bringing this race to a crawl. And F1 Richie finally gets in the pits to serve his drive-through. And yeah, this is just absolutely weird. There's no ways we've had this many VSCs already. But I mean, carry on. We'll have to wait, I guess, and. Yeah, I think there is a limit on VSCs, but yeah.
That was the 5th one.
Yeah, we'll have to see if maybe these guys want to restart the session here and get a proper race. But if that's the limit, then yeah, it's already been.
Yeah, we shouldn't see another one.
And yeah, well, that's quite weird. But if there isn't another one there, maybe we can carry on. But that also means there's no safety cars, I think. So,
that's unfortunate. So
oh, that's Extreme Pascal on the wall. And Extreme Pascal has lost the rear end, and that's some wing damage.
Oh no.
And yeah, I was a little bit scared, but it seems we have hit that limit, and yeah, there's still just a lot of debris there.
That's really weird. And you know, on sim damage, you'd be terrified. You'd be livid that hadn't gotten removed. But luckily, I don't think you can get punctures by turning over debris with the seg.
I don't think so, but
we'll find out sooner or later. But yeah, Welsh Montanano lead from F1 Richie, Krago and ISRL Monkeys, and Chilmo. A shocker of a third and fourth here, but with everything that's going on, you know, how surprised can you honestly be?
I mean, I'm not sure where they came from, to be entirely honest with you.
Well, Monkeys was running 6th and 5th before all the chaos started happening, so he got the one position from F1 Richie, and then another one maybe from CJ Butch. But yeah, a shocker of a start for Monkeys and Chilmo.
And we've had quite a few pit stops already here, as people probably taking advantage of one of those multiple VSCs, but it looks like we're able to at least get going under green here, and I think we have hit that limit of VSCs, so that was a very weird glitch, and now Chilmo going down the inside of Monkeys, and good battle there for what is now P3, with Krago ahead of them, and Chilmo coming out on top there, but there's some more pit stops in the back, as F1 Richie and Hartman now pit, and that leaves
Richie pits again.
Well, Richie pit for his drive-through. Now he has to pit to change his tires. Yeah, and might as well do that now and try to soldier on to the end there.
Yeah.
Welsh Maldonado is going to have to pit soon, and I think so does Krago. And so I think we're down to only 4 cars now with no stops.
The interesting thing with Welsh Maldonado, though, is that the gap between her and Krago just a lap ago was 6 seconds. And, you know, maybe around this time you'd think that the soft tires would start to maybe lose their traction, their grip. But she's gained nearly a second, nearly 2 seconds now on the same tire, the same wear in just one lap. So maybe she might be wanting to stretch this out, but, you know, what do I know? She's in the pits now. Nice double battle behind her, though.
Monkeys diving into the pits there, and it kind of looked like a little bit of an awkward entry. I think he might have caught out Bacher.
And he got a speeding penalty.
Yeah.
And he caught himself out because he got a speeding penalty. And
I think he might have gotten tapped from behind there.
Yeah, Krago also picked up a penalty for maybe cutting the chicane of all the champions. So Krago now takes the lead with Chilmo in second.
Sunik is chasing down Chris, but ahead of them, Bacher is chasing down Chilmo, and there's actually a bit of a battle brewing for what is now the lead. There's yellow flag in Sector 3, and that is that always...
Sprunky. It looked like Sprunky was slow. Maybe at the Wall of Champions.
No, it's coming out of the hairpin there, but I don't want to tune off this battle here because Chilmo looks like he's about to go for a move down the inside of Krago. Not gonna have the run that he thought, and actually still gonna try to sneak it up the inside. And there's Bacher right behind them, just waiting, licking his fingers, hoping to pick up the scraps from this battle. And down the back straight, Chilmo's gonna have DRS, but he is gonna be out of battery. And oh, Mo, that was not nice, just squeezing out Krago into the wall there. He was not clear of Krago, and Krago just getting lucky not to crash there.
Yeah, it's a weird pit lane entry when you're not communicating with each other. I think if they would have told someone that he's pitting, I guarantee that situation would have happened. But not spreading fault, it's just an unfortunate circumstance.
Yeah, it is kind of an awkward pit lane, but I think Mo is also moving back to the racing line there before being completely clear of Krago, because I saw some front wing near the rear wheels. But carry on. They managed not to crash. Now Mo and Bacher P1 and P2, but if I open up my stops data, you'll see that they're the only two that have not pit yet. They started on the medium tires, so they got a few more laps before they have to. And Welsh Maldonado now out of the pits, ahead of Chris, and chasing them down into the hairpin. She has pit, and I don't think she will need to pit again.
She shouldn't. She had pit right when that whole chaos with Monkeys and I think it was Chilmo happened, but now Chilmo pits from the lead, and Bacher will take first with Welsh Maldonado chasing him down.
And Bakker should end up pitting soon. Stunek picks up a penalty while chasing Chris, and he's actually been getting closer lap after lap here. And as he gets past Mo, who's in the pits, that brings him up into a battle for P3. Stunek is running P4 behind the Racing Point of Chris there, who had a podium last week, and I think he's looking prime for another one here.
Yeah, a strong showing from Chris. Waiting to see more from Bumblebee. He's had a very solid season 4 start compared to what we saw earlier from when we were called the Tiers, but in a surprise from Bumblebee. Now with F1 Richie, he's already had to pit twice. I think the good thing for him is he's only 7th. Like, it's not like it dropped him to last and a lap down, having to take 2 pit stops right back to back like that. So you might be counting your lucky stars if you're a fan of F1 Richie.
And he is very much still in this, but with the VSC glitch, I guess, that we got at the start, I don't know if we're going to get a safety car. There is a limit to those, and I think they count towards the same limit. So F1 Richie might have to do the rest of this race on pace alone. And as these guys get past the blue flagged Alfa Romeo, Volvos Victor does a good job getting out of the way there. Stunek still chasing down the Racing Point of Chris. Further down the field, though, Chilmo's getting close to Monkeys, and I think that's Nick Potgater getting past Monkey Mafia into turn 1, and it is. So Potgater back up to P9.
After that horrible start that he had, falling down the order, putting on another pair of softs right at the beginning. He's going to have to pit again, though. And how is that strategy? Is this to try it, see what happens, hopefully you get lucky type of strategy, putting on another pair of softs at the end, or
I mean,
fresher mediums at the end? What do you think?
Oh, I'll tell you in a second there, because Hartman's making a move on Ix, going around the outside of this DRS straight, and very nicely done into turn 8 and 9, and that's Ix who's going to collect the wall. And he's going to now be vulnerable to Bumblebee, who's going to send it to his right in the hairpin. Ix is going to have to concede that position. But Bumblebee goes deep, and is Ix going to fight back? I think not. I think Ix is going to be diving into the pits there. And I don't think that was Hartman's fault at all. I think Ix just kind of went deep there coming out of turn 9.
But speaking of going into the pits, we had Bakker, who was the de facto leader. He pit onto the hards. So Welsh Maldonado retakes first place. But Chris and Stunek and Chilmo, the 2nd to 5th place, I am astounded at. What a great drive from these guys. It's only still relatively early in the race. Still
20 laps to go here. We might yet see another round of pit stops. And if we do, it could shake things up. And Stunek, though, still chasing Chris. Bakker now chasing Monkeys, who got passed by Chilmo. And Chilmo now trying to hunt down the Alpha... I said that one wrong. The Alpha Tauri. That's a new one. The Alpha Tauri of Stunek. Bakker getting a good run, and he's ahead of Richie. So Bakker, I guess, I mean, of course, you didn't have to serve that drive-through. But still getting himself up into a good position there. But you can see that he's lost time by staying out longer than Chilmo, who himself is already up into P4.
And Stunek and Chris are battling at it out of the turn 2 now.
Oh, they are, and they're very close. And I saw a little bit of wheel touching there. And
right there.
Yeah, a little bit of contact right as I tuned on board. And now Stunek getting by Chris. And I think he maybe just tired of being stuck behind him and forcing his way by. Or did Chris move over onto him? We tuned in a little bit too late to find out, unfortunately. But it's not over yet, because Chris is right behind them. Chilmo is right behind them as well. They lost a lot of time in that battle.
Chris lost, obviously, the most time. But I think, he may want to retry that if he could, because now he's going to be under pressure, as you said, from Mo. He'll have the DRS still, but, Mo will have the double slipstream.
This battle is queuing up a lot of cars behind them, and that's Monkeys, Bakker, and Richie all getting quite close. but not close enough to make a move yet. Astunik still leads this lead pack there behind Maldonado, P2 for the AlphaTauri, and into turn 1 here. He's keeping Chris at bay. Now Chris is going to be getting some pressure from Chill Mo right behind them as they head into turn 3 and 4, and not close enough to make a move just yet for Chris. I think Mo, if he can get a good run out of this next chicane, can make a move on Chris. And let's see if he can here as he... Yeah, good line through there, not taking as much to the corner as Chris, and yeah, it's going to be a little bit further back than what he wanted to. It's doing it going defensive, grabbing that inside there, and yeah, Chris does have DRS on Astunik, and but Mo has been catching up to them regardless, so who knows, as we go down the main straight, Astunik's going to be under pressure here. Mo, I thought Mo was going to go a little deep. Chris gets a weird run through the corner and actually ends up tagging the back of Astunik, and that's going to cost him down the straight. And look at Mo now is going to be right behind him. Can Mo overcome Chris's DRS, or is Mo going to be... They're all recharging their battery, all kind of running out of VRS there. Mo's going to look down the inside, go squeeze back around the outside, gets blocked off by Chris and almost goes into the back of him, gets a penalty there around the last chicane for good measure. And now Mo going to be trying to run the outside of Chris. Thought about it, not going to make it work. And Astunik still P2. He's doing... Oh, big moment there from the AlphaTauri. Keeps it out of the wall. And how did Astunik save that? I don't think he's taken any damage. No damage. Kept it out of the wall. I have no idea how he saved that. And that's a save of the race there for the AlphaTauri, keeping it out of the wall. Now he's going to hunt back down for those positions. But if I'm him, I'll take those positions back later. I'm just happy I kept it with no damage. And these guys are going to fight. They're going to cost each other time anyways. So not going to worry about it too much. Oh, I didn't mean to go that far off the battle. And there is another battle brewing later down, at like way deep at the pack with Extreme Pascal and Ix into turn 1. We'll try to tune in on that one if it's not over by the time these guys are done fighting. But the way it's going right now, I don't think they'll ever be done fighting. Chill Mo trying to move on Chris right behind them. Look at that. That's Bacher and Astunik. And Chill Mo does get the move on Chris into turn 1. Right behind them, you see Bacher getting ahead of Astunik. And Chill Mo up into P2 now, and it's his turn to chase down Welsh Maldonado, who must just be sitting there licking her fingers right now because they're costing each other so much time every lap.
Yeah, and it just comes with the circumstance, I think, with these guys starting a bit further down the pack than the guys who actually did start second and third. That's one reason why the gap is so big, but of course, them battling it out for the past 5 laps is going to help Maldonado just pull away even further.
Now Monkeys is going to be catching up to Astunik, and I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move here. Let's turn into our YouTube comments here, see what people are talking about. And there's a lot of love for Renault and Richie right now. And some mention of that weird VSC glitch. Josh predicts Bacher for P2. And another podium prediction that we saw earlier was first Welsh, F1 Richie for P2 and Chris P3. So still, I think a lot of time to see if maybe that'll come true. Richie is catching up to this group who's battling though. So Richie on the podium is not out of the realm of possibility. We just saw him there passing our camera. You see him down the straight as Monkeys thinks about having a look at Astunik, but Astunik is way too far ahead there, and he covers off that line. But if they fight too much, Richie, you see that red car hunting in the background. He's getting closer, and do you think he's got what it takes not only to get past Monkeys and Astunik, but get past Bacher, Chris, and Mo?
I was just about to say, to his advantage, there's only, I could tell, 2 drivers besides Welsh Maldonado who have fresher tires than him, and also disregarding Bacher on the hards, and that's Monkeys and Mo. All these other guys have got a lot more worn tires. Considering the pace that we know Richie has, there's no reason not to think that a podium is clearly in his grasp now. He's got to go now. There's no time to wait. He's
got to push. He is gaining though, tune of a couple of tenths a lap. and his gap to Monkey's is now 1.7. So if he can get within that DRS, I think we're going to see his progress go up much faster. In the background, though, Monkey's making the move on a student who's going to pit. So I know they're in the same party, probably a little bit of communication there going on. And it worked for the both of them as they're able to navigate those corners without costing themselves any time to F1 Richie. We have a yellow flag in sector 1, and that's Bacher, who's had a spin. He comes right out on track ahead of Richie and almost spins again as he's a little too eager to get back on the throttle with grass on his tires. And Richie up into P5 now as he gets a free position off of the pit stop for Stunek and the spin for Bacher. And did you see what happened to Bacher there?
I had no clue. I was looking to see what tires the Stunek put on, but just one less opponent that Richie's gonna have to worry about in this fight for the podium run.
Unless Richie has to pit again.
Monkeys is next on the checklist.
We might see another pit stop here.
Ooh. Yeah, that.
We already have, like,
Sorry,
these tires are already. That's all good. These tires are already 10 and 11 laps old. Some of them 13 laps old. And will they last to the end? These mediums, I don't think so. I think these guys might be on a 2-stop here. And unless, like, really the track temperature is in that perfect window that they don't have to worry about it too much, they are going to have to pit again. So maybe is the Stunek just getting a little bit ahead of the pack here by pitting early and using that undercut.
Yeah, that's a really good. I didn't even think of that, but now that you raised that point, I think that's exactly what. I think he's following a strategy, but I think it's a really good call. If these guys in front have to pit again, he'll be on the freshest set of mediums.
Bumblebee.
Again, if these guys maybe wait.
Yeah, but Bumblebee making a move on Sprunky. I do know what you mean, yeah. So this one's later down in the pack, but we haven't given these guys a lot of screen time. And that was a move down the straight there for Bumblebee, getting himself up into P12. That is in the points here at ISRL. We use our own point system. If you don't know it already, P1 to P15 are eligible for points with the fastest lap point. And speaking of fastest lap, who has that right now? It's going to be Chill Mo with a 1:11.9 for fastest lap. Oh, here comes Bacher really thinking about a move on Richie. And, he looked like he was going to outbrake himself there and slam into the back of the Ferrari, but able to keep it under control. And is going to get the move very easily done there down the straight, the main straight into turn 1. And good and dusted there for Bacher as he gets up into P4, starts chasing down Monkeys again.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's not what F1 Richie expected to see, was a guy on harder tires, easily go past him. But then again, he's on 13-lap-old mediums, so I think, that point that you just raised again, it might be starting to come to fruition. These guys, they're going to have to pit again, I think.
Yeah, and Bacher is on
more evident.
He is on fresher hards there.
Bacher's good though.
Yeah, he should be good to the end.
Go to the end.
So Welsh Maldonado might have to pit again, but her lead is quite big, so I don't think it's gonna come and threaten anything much. She's already lapping the likes of Extreme Pascal there into turn 1 if you look on the mini map. F1 Richie though and Bacher, only two not to take any penalties so far. Oh, and that's Monkeys into the pits. Monkeys gets another 5-second penalty for speeding. I just heard some non-repeatable words there through the commentator's booth door, and I don't think he's quite happy about that one. He has to serve his other one basically. So he was going to go get one removed, and he just immediately tacked on another one entering the pit lane. So breaking even there on the pit stop, but not the kind of even you wanted to be breaking.
You can go with that, sure.
Yeah, Bacher getting some.
It's in a good position now.
It was getting some grass on his wheels actually, and that's where we saw him had a moment, or near where we saw him have a moment earlier in the race. So maybe taking a little bit too much there on the turn-ins, Bacher, and that's what cost him earlier. I've seen some puffs of dirt there here and there when we were watching him. But seems to be keeping it under control now. We're going to go back down to, let's put the intervals back up because I have no idea where anybody is right now. And let's turn the penalties off, which is what I was trying to do earlier. And I ended up just turning.
Keep an eye on the gap between Maldonado and Bacher though, because I'm not quite sure, to be honest, how long a pit stop takes at this track, but
yeah, Mo is in the pits right now.
22 seconds seems, yeah.
And that's going to let
Just wait and see
F1
if
Richie and Bacher by. And further down the pack there, it is still pretty close for a couple of these guys within DRS range. Chris is, or was within DRS range of Stunek, but not using his DRS. I think he kind of probably came into DRS range after the detection zone. So Chris gaining a lot of time on Stunek then, if he's able to do that. And Mo is, so these guys, Mo has come out right in this battle with Stunek, Chris, and Craigo. So I don't know if that was intentionally. There's a small gap there, and he fit right into it, and immediately he's under pressure. And is he going to be the one pressuring Craigo, who you see him right ahead there in the Ferrari, or is he going to be the one under pressure from Stunek and Chris right behind him? And Mo, if he wants to get away from Stunek and Chris, he's got to get past Craigo now. Maldonado is in the pits.
I'll come back to your point with the leader. Yeah, he pits, and now where's Bacher gonna? It's not gonna be enough.
And Bacher. Yeah, Maldonado already out of the pits there. Bacher coming around to turn 1 now, so it is still 5.66 seconds. There you go, 7-second gap between Bacher and the leader. Not ideal, but then again, these guys have been fighting all race. They've been involved in battles. Welsh Maldonado has just been cruising alone at the front, enjoying the clear air and kind of just making sure to race the best race she can. So it's not a surprise to me that she's got this big gap now, because she's driven to get it.
Oh, absolutely. I wasn't trying to take anything away. Just the strategy part. I was just very interested to see the gap. From
Here goes Chilmo on Craigo.
Chilmo.
And that's a good move from Mo there. And who's that? That's had a spin. That's Hartman in Sector 1. And Mo, I was saying he had to get by Craigo if he wanted a shot at the guys ahead. He has gotten past Craigo. And Bumblebee's retired from the session. That's an awkward spot. And that would have been a safety car here if we still had any available.
That would definitely be a safety car.
And unfortunately, we've used all of them.
That would have brought everyone back together.
Yeah. That would have given us a great ending there. Bumblebee, a DNF in Canada, not how you wanted to go into the break. That's the third car we've lost this session. And, what's happening here? That's Craigo getting all out of shape there as Stunek gets by, and I have to wonder if there was contact. I think Craigo cutting down on the AlphaTauri. Now he's going to get passed by Chris as well. The Racing Point getting ahead of the Ferrari, and Craigo, who was once just right behind his teammate there, is now in P7 behind Chilmo, Stunek, and Chris, all getting by in the last lap. And I think that all started in turn 1, where they looked like there was contact between Stunek and Craigo, and now Stunek going to be trying to chase down Chilmo here in P4. He's already getting quite close. There's some more pit stops further back, and I think at this point, I think F1 Richie might be the only one who still has to pit in that leading pack, doesn't he? Does F1 Richie have to pit again?
You'd think. You'd think he'd have to, but I was been waiting for him to dive into the pits, and every single lap where he doesn't, I start to think maybe he's going to the end of the race, or maybe he's trying to.
Yeah, one thing that is interesting here, the gap is going up, so I don't think it's going to matter too much in hindsight, but Welsh Maldonado does have 6 seconds of penalties. And so if Bacher can somehow close that gap to within 6 seconds, we might see something, but it's already up to 11.3 there. So Bacher really has to turn on the turbojets if he wants to close it up. He's only got 8 laps to go as well, and so he's got to be about a second a lap quicker for a couple laps in a row there if he wants a chance at the win through penalties. Doesn't look like it's going to happen here.
Yeah, I think, barring any major occurrences, I think the win may be sealed for Welsh Maldonado, but we are being treated to a great battle. multiple great battles, especially this one for fourth with Chilmo, Estunik, and Chris, who've basically been at it the entire race.
And they're keeping it a lot cleaner than they did in Austria. A lot more respect, at least from what I've seen between these guys so far. But now that I say that, I feel like we're going to see something happen. I have a tendency to always jinx everybody. Estunik gets a little bit on the grass on the exit of turn 14, and not gonna. I thought it was going to cost him more down the straight than it really did, but he's able to recover and not only get away from Chris, who I thought was going to pass him for sure there, but actually close up the gap a little bit more to Chilmo with the DRS and the slipstream. And through turns 4 and 5, gets a better run through there, but there's no overtaking opportunity here. Not until after this straight, and it looks like Chilmo's navigating that line a little bit better. And now Stunik, is he going to be... He's safe-ish from Chris. He's got DRS, and so Chris isn't going to really get the runs down on these short straights here. But can he get past Chilmo here and start hunting down Richie? Or is he going to be forced to just kind of wait and hope Mo makes a mistake and pass him that way?
You know, you'd hope if you were Estunik's sake, you've got the more grippy tire compound, but the lap difference on them is where the disadvantage might start to show itself, and you may not be able to get past
Stunik takes a penalty there. And penalties are now 11, 15, and 0. So Chris is going to get both of these guys on penalties quite easily at the end there. So Chris has no pressure. But Estunik wants to clear Mo, and he wants to set a 4-second gap to Mo if he wants to keep that position.
Well, he's a lot closer now in this windy Sector 1 part.
Yeah. Oh, much better line through there, and he's forced to slam on the brakes as Mo just well, it looks like he parks the car almost on the apex, and it's going to throw Stunik all out of sync there. Now Chris is going to have a go on him. Stunik goes defensive with the inside line and keeps the position, and it's not the first time we've seen Mo kind of hesitate on a corner, and Stunik was right behind them and forced to check up, and I think that's actually the third time in 3 races. Of course, in Austria, it wasn't Mo's fault. He ran to the back of Cozy, and then Stunik ran to the back of him. But yeah, still, it looks like Stunik always getting very close to the round of Mo. Luckily, this time, there's no damage for anybody. They're both carrying on. And can he have another go here? We're on lap 31 out of 35. Or at least these guys are starting lap 31 just now. And it's the late stage of the race. Fuel's probably low. Battery is most likely low. See what everyone's playing with. Who's got what it takes here? So Stunik is the one who's worse off in the ERS management. Mo's actually done a good job saving his. And I think probably that push last lap is what's put Stunik into this, I guess, ERS hole here. But Mo with 22% of his battery remaining, and it doesn't look like he's struggling much for fuel.
And what's getting more interesting is that even though these guys are battling, all 3 of them are slowly catching F1 Richie as a pack. And it's because there's 21.
He's trying to make them last to the end.
I don't know if it's going to work, though. These 3 guys with the battling that we're seeing are catching him at a good 2/10 a lap almost.
I think he's going to keep going. He's going to try to drag him to the end. A pit stop would hurt him more than anything right now. He'd probably send him behind the Red Bull of monkeys. And it most definitely would, as this field is still pretty close here in these closing laps around Canada. And Stunik now chasing down Chilmo. They're within DRS range of Richie now. Stunik gets another penalty, and now that's going to be game over. Even if he gets past Chilmo, he's not going to be able to keep the position.
Now, F1 Richie, there's a good point by Dave in the comments saying Richie, he may as well do it with all the penalties from the guys behind him.
He's got to stay ahead of Chris.
At this point.
He's got to stay ahead of Chris here.
But I think he may just be trying to use Mo and Estunik as a buffer in between Chris at this point.
It's a smart strategy. He knows he's not going to catch up to Bacher or Welsh Maldonado. They're way up the road. But yeah, you can use Chilmo and Astunik as a stopgap to Chris, and it's working so far, because so long as Mo doesn't get past him, which he might here down the straight. Oh no, it does look like he's going to get past him. No, Richie just closes the door there. He's not having any of that right now. You stay behind me, he says, and F1 Richie keeps P3.
With Richie doing that, though, that's going to slow down Chilmo, which is going to make Astunik get even closer.
And yeah, Mo not judging the braking and forced to slam on his brakes, and that's going to force Astunik to kind of fall prey to Chris here, as Chris gets a good run on him, but not able to make it work. And into this one, no overtaking opportunity there, and all of them just going to kind of queue up. Astunik gets another penalty there. How many warnings is he getting? And Chilmo gonna have another go at Richie. Chilmo, he's got to play it smart here, because he's got way more penalties. He's not keeping this position, and I think he is doing that because there was a very, very open opportunity for a move there, and he didn't go for it. And some sensible driving there from Chilmo. And through the hairpin, there's a yellow flag in Sector 1. That's one of the Red Bulls. That's Hartman again, who's had a spin, where we've seen him have a spin before. Chilmo with DRS now. Look at how close these guys are, and F1 Richie gonna grab the racing line. Mo down the inside, just squeezes ahead of Richie there, and through the last chicane, Richie is very, very close to Astunik, and now is Chris gonna have a go, and Richie defends Chris. That's a smart thing to do, but both of them getting by Richie, and now what Richie did not want, being Chris ahead of him, it has happened, and now is Chris gonna have a go at Astunik? Not able yet, Chris, to have a go at Astunik. He's gonna get the position regardless, though, with the penalties. So right now it looks like Chris is gonna steal another podium there, and F1 Richie, that's a bold strategy, trying to make those mediums last to the end. It looks like it's gonna be just not enough there, as he starts to fall back, not having the grip to fight these guys, but still a very solid P4 after the unfortunate drive-through. That's a good recovery from Richie.
Yeah, absolutely, and he may even get the chance of jumping both Chilmo and Astunik. He'll jump Astunik. Let me pull up the penalties for each of these guys. Yeah, he'll jump both Astunik and Chilmo. So yeah, to your point, it's he may come up short on the podium, but it's still a good fourth place with that differing strategy.
Yeah, and it's we're gonna see when these guys finish crossing the line, because there's some penalties further back down the field that might affect it too. But coming through the hairpin, though, it is your winner, and there's another yellow flag in Sector 1. What's happening there? It's F1 Richie. F1 Richie, what's happened? Does he have a flat tire, maybe?
Oh, what did I do?
It doesn't look like it. I don't know
what happened with the commentator's curse.
It's just, he's had a spin, unfortunately. And F1 Richie is going to drop down some more positions. Welsh Maldonado, though, she's coming around the final chicane, and it's going to be another win for the Haas driver. 2 wins on the season to bring her up into, well, further ahead into the Drivers' Championship lead. And that's a good win from Welsh Maldonado. Bacher going to be crossing the line P2 here unless something dramatic happens, and I don't think it will, as he comes around the Wall of Champions and going to do some more celebratory weaving. And Bacher P2 behind them. Chilmo going to cross the line P3, but let's see what happens once the penalties start to fall. Astunik visibly frustrated behind, and Chris is going to take the podium place away from them. So it's Welsh Maldonado P1, Bacher P2, and Chris P3. Monkeys P6 there after penalties. Nick Potgieter P5, Craigle P7. F1 Richie jumps ahead there up into P5. Richie. So with the penalties, didn't even matter. What? F1 Richie gets P5, and that tells me he could have gone past Chilmo. F1 Richie could have been P4 there without that second spin. Astunik down to P9. Azen P10. Unless something changes, yeah, P10. Monkey Mafia is going to be P11. And the rest of them a lap down there. Sprunky, Hartman, Ix, Rick, and Extreme Pascal. A lap down. After that's the DNFs. What a race!
Everything that happened at the beginning. Yeah, it turned out to be a great race.
Yeah, we had some issues there at the start. What looked like a VSC glitch, but I don't think. I mean, it did affect the race a little bit, but in the end, I think we've had enough green flag racing that it didn't throw everything completely out of whack. We didn't have to restart or anything, so it turned into a exciting Grand Prix, and we see Welsh Maldonado on the top step of the podium again. I don't know if you just want to send some invites to these guys, get them into the interview room. But that was a good race from everybody. I heard some celebration behind me. Monkey's getting P6 in his home Grand Prix, so I'm sure he's going to be quite happy about that. Good points for Red Bull. Yeah, let's take it through the standings one last time there. I'll just scroll through. Welsh Maldonado, Bacher, Chris, Chilmo, Richie, Podgetcher, Monkeys, Krago, Stunik, and Azen. That's your top 10. Monkey Mafia, last car on the lead lap, and then P12 down. Sprunky, Hartman, Ix, Always Rick, and Extreme Pascal. They're a lap down there from 11th to 16th. And then your DNFs, we lost 3 cars this race. Bumblebee, CJ Butch, and Cozy there very early on lap 1. Unfortunately, still not sure what happened to him, so we'll have to wait and see the replays. But that's the end of the Division 3 Canadian Grand Prix. If you're still watching us, thank you for tuning in to the end of the race. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Like the stream. Make sure to like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you want. If you're that one dude who disliked the stream, I hope you still had a good time. And thank you to everybody who's dropped a comment. We're going to be back here in 50 minutes. This was a short race. 50 minutes from now with Division 2. And after that, again, with Division 1, again, around the Canadian Grand Prix. But until we do that, we got some podium interviews to give. And let me just, sorry if it's going to cut the screen. I just want to see who's joined. I think Carter has disconnected. But we do have Maldonado and Chris in here. So we'll start with our P3 man. Chris, are you there, buddy?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so listen, second time you're in here. In 2 races, it's a very good start to the season for you. Can you take us through your Canadian Grand Prix?
First of all, I'm really happy that it was far my best result in Canada. So good qualifying, good time, getting P3 in qualifying, and then having a good start. And then we had a lot of VSCs. I'm not quite sure, was it 4 or 5 times. It slows us down, and then I lost the contact to Welsh Maldonado and Richie, but it looks like I had another fight with Krago, but then as Tunic came, Chilmo came out of nowhere there, and I think I get a heart attack before the season ends, actually.
It was a good race. Unfortunately, your teammate getting a bit unlucky there. So you are, so far this season, getting a big haul of points there, most of the points for a Racing Point. Do you think you can keep up that pace through the year and keep carrying Racing Point, or are you going to need some help from Bumblebee at some point?
On one side, I hope to keep the momentum, finishing in the top 3, but on the other side, it would be better if we move getting into the top 5. Most likely to have a chance to fight for the Constructors' Championship at least, but yeah, he was unlucky.
And
today, so,
yeah, it's a P3 for you there. I'm sure you're quite happy with that. Is there anything you think you could have done better in that race?
I think at the start I could keep up with the 2 front runners there, but then I fell back out of the DRS, and then I had to look behind me again because I had Krago, then I had Estunik, then I had Chilmo, I had like everyone, and after the first pit stop I lost a little bit time fighting with Estunik, so yeah, it was kind of difficult, but I'm really quite happy to finish the race without any time penalties. So, my target is absolutely done.
Yeah, well, it's a good race there. Congratulations on the podium, and hopefully you can carry that momentum through the break that we're going to have next week into France. But now we're going to move on to our winner, Welsh Maldonado, formerly known as Rentbo. Are you there? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hello.
Yeah, well, hello. Now, second win of the season, third podium of the season in 3 races. Can you take us through that race?
Well, it was a bit of a manic start, didn't it? I was so confused what was going on. I was like, I just want to finish a lap, yeah, I was looking forward to a good battle with Richie, who had a superb pole position lap, to be fair to him. And we're not happy with qualifying, by the way, but that's another story. Anyway, I was looking forward to a good battle to him, because he had some pace at the start, but yeah, he was unfortunate with the drive-through. And after that, well, it was Barker who was on the one stop I had to look to, and yeah, I just tried not to get too many penalties at the end.
Do you think that early drive-through there from Richie, which we're not really sure exactly how it happened, it looked like he was keeping a good delta pace there, but do you think that robbed us from a potential fight for the win like we saw last week, or was that just a victory you had in the bag?
Nah, 100%. I don't think I would have won if he didn't get that drive-through to answer, because he had some pace at the start. But yeah, it's disappointing for him.
And, well, it's still, you get the points for it, you get the trophy. Your second win of the season, how do you translate that into the Drivers' Championship at the end? You've got 3 podiums now, you're looking like an early favorite. How do you maintain that pace?
I'm just trying to get consistent points. Well, trying to finish every race is my target. Trying to get into the wall, but yeah, I personally prefer the constructors, and yeah, Sprunky I need to have a word with.
Yeah.
But yeah, and trying and concentrating on the constructors mostly, because yeah, that's the best part of it.
Yeah, well, speaking of Sprunky, you said you had to have a word with him. Maybe a practice session or some training, because he needs to, I think, help you out with Haas in the Constructors' Championship. You guys are still near the front with just your points alone. So, if you're more focused on the Constructors than the Drivers' Championship, how do you think you're going to be able to help Sprunky in the coming races to kind of maybe get him up to your level?
Well, I already help with some strategy. I'll yeah, maybe do a practice session right now. Talking through or something, yeah, I don't know. Get him shaped up.
We've seen Sprunky have great pace there. He was leading or for a long time in the preseason race in Russia. And hasn't been getting the luck there this season, but hopefully we see him in the interview room with you in the future, so that we can have both Haas's on the podium for once. So yeah, it was a good race for you. Congratulations on the second win of the season, and hope that you can carry that success through the next where we got 13 races left. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, just well done. We're going to end it here, folks. Thank you to everybody who tuned into the live stream. Thank you to everybody who watched, gave a like, dropped a comment. We'll see you guys again in 40 minutes. It's Division 2 around the Canadian Grand Prix. Hope to see you guys very soon. Don't go too far. Thank you for tuning in. I'm ISRL Knight. Carter was in here with me for a bit there. I don't know where he's disappeared off to. But yeah. Thank you. So we'll see you guys soon.